Hi and welcome back to the WRX under the tarp build. Yeah, what's going on here? Alright, let's get into it and find out. Hi and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for having a look. For those of you that are returning, great to have you back with us again. Okay, yes, the car is under a tarp, and no, there's nothing serious about that, and there's no secrets. It was simply a case of we had to drop it back on its wheels and move it out. It was pouring down with rain, so we threw a tarp over it to keep the water out. There's no glass in the car at the moment. And then brought it back in. The tarp was still wet, so kept the tarp over the top of it to help dry the tarp out, and that's as simple as that. However, I do have an apology to make. I have lost a little bit of footage during the construction. Had the camera set up and was filming. Unfortunately, though, the SD card, I didn't record onto the card for some reason. So there's a few bits and pieces of this that unfortunately are a bit retrospective. I did get some of it, not all of it. So let's kick off with getting the switch panel sorted out. Not having a decent jigsaw blade, I had to use the router to cut this out, so it's a little bit wonky on the whole. However, once the switch panel goes in like so, I'll get that drilled and lined up nicely, and boost gauge in, it'll look something like that. Okay, so here's what it looks like, all finished up. And with the ignition on, switch panel, I've actually wired the boost gauge to come on with the ignition, so I don't have to connect up the separate lights circuit for that. That shouldn't be a big drama. This car's not going to get a lot of night racing, and even then it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Next on the list was to tackle some of the other parts of the interior. So we had a set of floor plates that were given to us with the car. Earlier on, got these aluminium foot trays back in the car, both drivers and co-driver's side. They came out of the other rally car. They weren't drilled in the best spots. I'm not sure how they were fixed into the other car. However, I've drilled and nut-certed them in, which is just a bit neater, and it'll be easier to remove them. Particularly this one, if you ever need to get at the ECU behind there, it's easier to be able to unbolt it. Before the seats go in, putting in the harness plates and eye bolts for the crutch straps. Now luckily on these Subarus they only need one here, because they've got factory seatbelt threads here and here for the side straps. Some cars you need to put 3 or 4 of these eyelet bolts in, and to put these in underneath you need one of these gadgets. It's a harness plate. It's 75 by 50 mil with a nut welded on. These ones are already galvanized or treated to resist corrosion, so it's just easy to drill the hole and then whack them in the floor. Another area that we needed to finish off inside the interior was the seats, so we got both the front seats bolted in, and thanks to Dave for one of the seats, because I had a passenger seat but not a driver seat. Thank you, Dave. And also the side intrusion bars, we got those. Now the seats are in, it was easy to get the side intrusion bars drilled and bolted in, and also the paint on the cage in those areas was touched up as well. Okay, so this is where I did lose a little bit of footage under the engine bay. There were a few fiddly bits and pieces to take care of. In previous episodes I've talked about needing to secure the power steering lines, get a bracket to hold those in place, which is now done, and also the air filter, which was flapping around. I really wasn't a fan of that at all, so I fabbed up a bracket there to hold the air filter, so the pod's neatly in place now, and that's bolted back to the strut tower. And speaking of the strut towers, also got the strut tower brace bolted in as well. Probably the most significant change, at least cosmetically, was getting all the panels on the car. Thank you very much to Jack, who gave me a hand with doing that. We got all the doors on, the boot, the bumpers are all on, and of course the bonnet was already sorted. So it's actually looking a little bit more like a car now. Okay, so I reckon that'll do for this episode. A lot of little bits and pieces that didn't take a lot of time to do. However, when they're all put together, they have had quite a big impact. It was really good to be able to get the car onto its wheels, run and drive it. I only drove it about 10 metres. Radiator's not in it yet, so can't have it running for very long, but it did drive, and I think it was probably 5 to 7 years ago, maybe longer, before the body shell itself actually moved under its own power, and the engine was a good 3 to 4, so it was good to be able to get that happening. Also, the car's a bit of a clown car at the moment, multicoloured in terms of the panels, and yes, it is destined for a date with the paint shop very soon. Just got to cut in a roof vent and get some bonnet pins sorted, a few other bits and pieces, and then it can go to the paint shop. And yes, I will film that and do a big reveal on that when we get to that point. Thanks very much for watching. It's much appreciated for all the support on the channel. We have had a fair bit going on amongst building the car. The first round of the State Rally Championship happened very recently, and there's been a whole bunch of motorsport packed in together. We've also run a couple of events ourselves, and I'm still getting those videos through the pipeline, so they should be out very shortly. Please give us a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell, and that'll let you know when we've got new videos. So when we upload the new motorsport videos coming, you'll be able to catch those straight away. Anyway, have a great week. I'll catch you very soon. Cheers for watching. Bye for now.